Hi everybody, and welcome to today's cooking segment. And today we're going to be making plain scones, and this recipe will give you about 12 scones. The first thing we need to do is to preheat our oven. So we're going to put our oven onto about 180 degrees. If it's a fan forced oven, you might want to put it a little bit lower, because scones cook quite quickly. Today I'm just doing a normal oven, so that's on there now at 180. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to sift 2 cups of self-raising flour into a bowl. So we're going to do that now. I hope everyone's been keeping well. So it's 1 cup. And that's 2 cups. All right. So we're just going to sift that in, and we're just sifting the 2 cups of self-raising flour, and we just need to sift that just once. Now this scone recipe only has 4 ingredients, so it's really simple to make, and this will be a really good one that you can do with the kids as well. If your kids like cooking, of course. And now that it's winter, we're heading into the cooler months, a nice hot scone with jam and cream with your morning cuppa or your afternoon cuppa is absolutely divine. I always keep my sifter as well in a freezer bag, because they can get a bit messy in your cupboard. So I've sifted the flour into the bowl. So now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of caster sugar, because a lot of the sweetness will come from the jam and the cream if you're going to be eating them with jam and cream. We will then add 1 tablespoon of butter. Now butter's best to use, but if you don't have butter, then obviously you can use margarine. And 1 tablespoon of that goes into the bowl. And using your fingertips, I want you to rub the butter through the flour and the sugar. And the last ingredient that we will be adding will be the milk. So just get your fingers, make sure your fingers are clean. We're just going to rub that butter through the flour. Okay. You just want to make sure that it's rubbed all the way through. And if you are using butter, make sure you remember to take it out of the fridge at least 30 minutes before you use it in this cool weather. Otherwise, you will have lots of trouble getting the butter through the flour and sugar mix with your fingertips. Okay, so that's all the way through now. It's quite quickly because I took my butter out quite early this morning out of the refrigerator. Well, anytime that you are cooking and you are using your hands, which is pretty much all the time when we are cooking, is to please remember to wash your hands throughout, because we don't want any germs or any nasties, that type of thing. Okay, our next ingredient that we need to add into the bowl is 3/3 of a cup of milk. Now, it doesn't matter what milk you use. If you're wanting a little bit of a low-fat scone, then you might use skim milk. If you're not too worried, then any old milk will do. So it's just 3/4 of a cup. Okay, that's about right. And we just tip that straight in, and we want to work it lightly into a soft dough. We don't want to beat it. We just want to fold the milk through the flour nice and easy, and just put a bit of flour on the table as well. So just tip a bit of flour onto the table or your bench or wherever you're making them. I choose to make mine on the table that I have in the kitchen because it's a very flat surface. So that's down. Now using our hand again, we're going to mix the milk through the flour, and it's just a gentle fold. You'll also need a rolling pin to roll out the scone mixture. If you don't have a rolling pin, I am sure that you can find maybe a can or a glass around the house that you can use, because we need to roll it out to be able to cut the scones out. You can buy a scone cutter as well from any good retailer, and they usually come in 2 sizes, and I'm using a scone cutter. If you don't have a scone cutter, you can use a glass. Just put a bit of cooking spray around the glass so that the dough doesn't stick, or you can also flour the glass as well. So it's just a gentle fold of the milk through until we get like a nice dough. And this is coming together quite nicely. And we're now going to tip this mixture onto the table where we've put the flour down. So that goes down. And I'll put the bowl on the sink, out the way. Now that I've got it onto the table, I can knead it a little bit further, just to make it a nice firm, but not too firm, dough. Okay, and we're going to roll it out to about a 1.5 centimeter in thickness, and then we're going to cut out with a scone cutter. We will place them on a lightly oiled or lightly floured baking tray. You can glaze the top of the scone with egg yolk or milk, and you will bake in a preheated oven, and we've got it on about 180. But dependent on what type of oven you have, you may need to play around with the temperature, but I wouldn't be cooking these scones anywhere over about 190 to 200 degrees. Otherwise you might end up with burnt, tough scones. You will bake them in the oven for about 12 minutes, but depending on your oven, they may cook a little bit faster as well. So general guide is really roughly between 10 to 12 minutes. And once they're cooked, you can serve them with a nice hot cuppa. Great for morning tea, great for afternoon tea. You can freeze them as well, and they're great for the children's lunch boxes or whoever's lunchbox really. They make a great morning snack when you are out and about. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoy my scones, and have a great day wherever you are in the world. Washing my hands, and bye for now.